Guys, I got another call that literally just came in like probably 10 minutes ago. And guys, I got my John Clethos on. It is what it is. But guys, check this out. I want to show you something here. And I wanted to stay here a little bit longer. But guys, right now, I think one of my trucks are on E. I got to go gas it up. I'm going to need that for tomorrow. But guys, check it out. Let me show you something. You guys, you remember all those notes I told you I had? I had most of them, but like I said, guys, when I get busy, I try to get to this stuff when I can. But this was another one I found. And guys, I don't know if I tried to go over this a few weeks ago, the last time I was going over these notes. But guys, I want to show you something here. And I got about at least a good 30 minutes to go over this with you guys. And guys, if you had any questions, I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to jump in here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll try to answer them. But I want to try to get as many of these questions answered on this card as I possibly can. But let me show you guys. Check it out. So, guys, like I said, what I'm showing you here is like what I have from like probably 10 years ago. So, excuse the handwriting or the legibility if you guys can understand it. I'll try to decipher this for you. But, guys, what you see here is strictly just what I wrote down from doing all maintenances. Like I said, none of what I had written down was from service. Believe it or not, all this is from maintenance. So, like I said, guys, most of what I seen during maintenances, it wasn't happening. For instance, what I did was, like I said, I seen equipment that was working, and I literally disconnected a wire. And from that point, once I seen something disconnect, I will look at the fault codes, and once I see the fault codes, I'll say, okay, I see a train furnace blinking like 5 blinks. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, and then I would write it down like you guys see here. And like I said, this is what I would go back and I would try to ask maybe a supervisor or a lead tech, someone like I said to have more experience. And that's pretty much how I got the experience. Like none of this stuff, like I said, that I had written down, this is not something that someone told me. This is everything that I've seen. And then from that standpoint, I just wrote it down. And like I said, most of this stuff I got answers for, but everything else, guys, I just learned from just, being around it and things of that nature. But guys, check it out. I'm just going through this here. Raindrops. I don't know what that was about. It says relay, seals on inducer. I feel like that was written off. Not enough returns. How would that affect the AC? Guys, I think this is where I left off with the other, with the last live I did a few months ago. Not enough returns, guys. I already did that. Not enough returns. That will cause the AC not to work. If you guys needed answers to this question, just look at my live video. I think that one was like, what the hell was it? I think that was like $820,000 worth of notes or something like that. Guys, you look at that and I'll answer that question. But I'm looking at the next question here. It says fixed orifice slash TXV metering device. If it clogs and cause high head pressure, low suction, what will you see? Will you see frost? Now, guys, look. I write like a doctor. Like I said, you guys can't understand this shit. And like I said, guys, I'm I'm in the same boat as you guys. I can understand my writing, but like I said, I don't judge people for poor handwriting because look, guys, I don't get paid for what I write. I get paid for what I know. You heard? And Dina Smith, what's going on? But guys, look, I'm just reading off what I just wrote. AC questions, fixed orifice slash TXV mirroring device. If it clogs and causes high head slash low suction, what will you see? Well, will you see frost? The answer is yes, guys. A clogged metering device is the same as a restricted line set. You will cause, and like I said, I can write this down because this isn't obviously happening while I'm here. But like, let's see here. The biggest question is what I got written on the board, but I wasn't anticipating writing what I have here on the board. Let's see here. EVAP. And guys, once again, any questions you guys have in the chat, feel free to write them down. I'm just going off of questions I had on this note. This is about close to 20,000. I put 10,000, but this is close to $20,000 in notes. Like I said, you guys will definitely utilize along the journey if you guys getting experience with service. So we have our EVAP, we have our condenser, we got our compressor. I'm just putting the 4 basic components. And then we have I'm just going to put an X here. And this is our liquid line going to our compressor, and this is our suction line. Now, guys, real quick, hold on. I want to try to stay on topic here. The question is, if the metering device, which is here, was clogged up and caused high head, low suction, it's kind of like I answered this question, guys, but I don't know how I framed this question, but it says, if my metering device clogs up and causes high head, low suction, will I see frost? So, guys, I kind of answered this question, but I still asked another question. Guys, you got to understand, this is my high side pressure here. So look, so this is my high side, and this is my low side. So think of it like this, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this because it's another question that I wanted to go over that's going to take a little bit more time. Check this out. If you had a clog in your metering device, and I kind of think I went over this before, but very briefly, but if you had a clog in your metering device, instantly your high side will go up and your low side will go down. So guys, think of a clogged metering device like a restriction, because that's exactly what it is. If the metering device doesn't meter the refrigerant properly and it doesn't function properly, chances are it's going to close, and that's going to instantly cause your high side to go up and your low side to go down. And guys, if your low side is not above a certain point, you will have freezing. And guys, here's the thing. Here's why, like I said, I tell you guys, whenever you diagnose systems, always, and you guys heard this in grade school, whenever you guys did math problems, you want to show your work. You don't want to just put an answer down and just assume that you're right. Guys, here's how you show your work with HVAC, right? With this question. If something's freezing, I can guarantee you guys, if you write this down and you ask any technician and you don't give them more information, if you just tell them, hey, my AC unit is freezing, what's going on? You know what they're going to say? Yeah, you got to add Freon. Guys, if your metering device is restricted and your AC unit freezes over, adding refrigerant is not going to work. The only thing adding refrigerant is going to do is add to your high side. The only way to fix this issue, guys, if your metering device is clogged, is replace the metering device. That's the only way. So if your AC unit is freezing, this is one of the components. This is not the only way. I repeat, this is not the only way. Your AC unit can freeze up. But like I said, guys, a clogged metering device, if you correctly diagnose it, this will cause the unit to freeze. And answering my question here, it will cause high head, low suction. And will I see frost? And the answer is yes. You will see frost on the suction line, because remember, guys, if this metering device clogs, that will slow down the flow of the refrigerant. And as a result, your high side is going to go higher than normal and your low side is going to go lower than normal. And as a result, you will have frost on the suction line, and then you'll have to go out there and thaw out the coil and then replace the metering device to fix the unit. So adding refrigerant will not work. And guys, like I said, I'm not going to give you too many scenarios here because it could sound confusing if you're not near the system. But like I said, once again, if your AC unit freezes over, you have to properly diagnose the inside unit, make sure everything's working inside, and then you have to make sure everything outside is working. There's no one scenario in which you don't have to do anything and you just start replacing parts, guys. I see that happen a lot. You always want to make sure you show improve. If you have an effect, you got to figure out the cause. The effect, if something's freezing, instantly I'm going inside to make sure my airflow is okay, make sure my filter is good. And then I'm going to make sure my metering device is okay, because like I said, guys, any of those three things I just said will cause the AC unit to freeze up. So, all right, guys, moving along. This is the next question here, and this is the most important thing. I put here all 4 burners, not lighting, only 2 burners. And I knew exactly what I meant by this. And guys, I actually made a video about this a couple of days ago on a no heat call. I think this is a 90% furnace. I mean, a 90% train furnace. I had a situation, and guys, I drew this the best way I could with different colors so you guys can see. This is just for instance, this is a 90% unit. You got your furnace, you got your burners, you got your inducer, supply here, return here, filter rack here, flame sensors here, and my igniter is here. And guys, look, based on this question, I put down all 4 burners, not lighting, only 2. What does that mean? And pretty much how to diagnose it. So guys, I put, like I said, how I write down notes, I write it down in ways that only y'all can understand. It might not make sense to everybody, but if I see it, I kind of like know what I meant by writing it, if that makes sense. But guys, If you only had 2 burners lighting, as you see in this illustration, I got 4 burners, only 2 lighting. Instantly, guys, that does not mean that something's wrong with your burners. What you have to do is you have to use the process of elimination. And once again, guys, for reference from this question, I did make a video on this a few days ago. I'm not even sure what the hell the name of the video is, to be honest with you guys. Like I said, most of the stuff I upload, I don't remember. Like I said, unless someone brings it up. I think it was, I knew it was a Trane 90% furnace, and I knew it was from at least 7 days ago. So, guys, like I said, you can definitely look at what I uploaded this past week, and you'll see this exact same scenario in live video. But, guys, real quick, if I only have 2 burners lighting out of 4, instantly, guys, and I'm putting myself live in a service call. Like I said, what I got written on the board, I'm treating this like a live furnace. If I have a scenario in which only 2 of my 4 burners are lighting, instantly, guys, what I'm doing, I'm going to say, okay, wait a minute. I know my gas pressures are probably okay because at least 2 are running, but I'm like, okay, this might trick me into thinking that something's going on with my flame sensor. But if my burners aren't lighting near my flame sensor, then that flame sensor is not going to sense flame properly. So instantly, my gas valve is going to turn off. But I'm like, okay, if I look at something like this, guys, I'm like, wait a minute. Why is only 2 of my 4 burners lighting? What's going on with my other 2 burners? Instantly, guys, before I even check gas pressures, I'm going to pull each and every one of these 4 burners out, and I'm going to clean them with sandpaper. And, guys, sometimes I'm going to try to draw this. I'm not the best drawer here, but like I said, let me show you something here. Like I was showing you guys, you have channels here. Channels are what connects one burner to another. So you have, of course, you have the orifice on the other side of the burner. The orifice is on the inlet side of the burner, and the outlet side of the burner is pretty much where your heat exchanger is. But guys, this is on the outlet side of the heat exchanger, where the heat exchanger is. You have your channels here. And guys, what can happen, especially with Trane units, guys, I don't know. Like I said, why this happens with Trane units, but like I said, I've never seen this happen with like any other brand besides Trane units. But guys, check this out. With Trane units, what can happen is the channels can get clogged up with dust and like scale. And if the channels get clogged up, maybe 1 or 2 burners will light, but the rest of them won't light. And as a result, guys, you're going to get this exact same scenario. Only 2 burners are going to ignite. So if that's the case, guys, you're going to have to, with Trane units, that's the good I'll tell you like this, guys. That's the good thing with Trane units. When those burners do clog up with Trane units, they give you the ability. Let me show you. They give you the ability to independently pull each and every burner out. So like I know with some brands, you can pull the burner assembly out all together, but with Trane units, you can pull each burner out independently. And like I said, you have like, I think it's a 5/16 screw that locks each one in. But like I said, guys, it's fairly easy to do. But if you have that scenario in which if you can physically see only 2 of the 4 burners or 3 of the 4 or whatever the case is, guys, if all your burners aren't lighting, only 1 or 2, then chances are the channel could be clogged up. And to clean these channels, guys, I'll probably get like maybe a thermostat, flathead screwdriver. And guys, here's the thing. This is something you can try, but if this doesn't work, you can always try replacing the burner assembly. Get them out on serial number, call your local supply house, and get the burner assembly replaced. But in regards to the channels, you can always try to get a thermostat flathead screwdriver. Try not to pry them open too much to like warp it too bad. But like I said, the thermostat flathead screwdriver, pry it open, and like so you get the rust and scale out and carefully put them back in place. And from that standpoint, like I said, that worked more times than not. But like I said, guys, if that didn't work and it still did the same thing with the channels being clear, I would just start with a new burner assembly. And like I said, that usually works out well. But let me get the notes here. Hold on. So yeah, like I said, guys, once again, this is what I wrote down from like 10 years ago. Like I said, everything I've written down, once again, this is like from what I've seen on equipment that was working. And like I said, it's kind of crazy. I think everything's coming around full circle. All the shit that I wrote down on notes, it's funny that I'm coming here to like explain things from like 10 years ago, guys. But Like I said, all this stuff you guys are seeing on the notes, this is like from 10 years ago, from like what I did, back when I was doing maintenances. But to answer this question once again, if not all of your burners are lighting, that just simply means that, like I said, you guys gotta inspect the burners and probably most likely take out the burners and make sure your channels are clean in between the burners, and you're good to go. All right, and clogged orifice and pilot. I know exactly what I mean by this, guys. When I say clogged orifice, this wasn't an AC related issue. This is a clogged orifice on your gas line, on a gas furnace. Now, guys, knock on wood, I never seen an orifice clog up. And guys, I can tell you like this, common sense. If an orifice, and just to show you, for context here, if an orifice clogs up that bad in this furnace, I can guarantee you're probably going to have something else bigger wrong with the unit. Maybe, like I said, I can't even give you a scenario because this never happened to me before. Like I said, in 11 years of dealing with heat and AC, but if something clogs up your orifice, maybe, like I said, maybe a lint ball or something like that, then chances are I can guarantee that that unit probably wasn't light. Because, guys, think about it like this. You have one orifice per burner. You got one orifice here, one orifice here, one here, one here. If something happens and it clogs up, guess what? Now you're not going to have gas flowing through your burner assembly. And if that's the case, if not all 4 burners are lighting due to a clogged orifice, you're going to get the exact same scenario as what I just said. And guys, if all 4 burners don't light, this furnace definitely will not stay on. Because think about this, guys. If all 4 burners aren't lit, especially the ones on the flame sensor end, this flame sensor is going to say, wait a minute, gas valve turn off. I don't have enough flames, turn off. You don't want to have a furnace, a gas furnace burn unburned gas. And like I say, now you're going to have standing gas spilling out the furnace. And you guys know with most basements, you have a standing pile of water heater right next to this furnace. And once unburned gas comes out, you don't want to have a potentially dangerous situation. So, guys, like I said, this is let me put the marker back on here. Hold on. So this answer is very similar to the one above, clogged orifice and pilot. Now, guys, I had to replace orifices before when we had to convert from natural gas to propane, but I never had to get crazy with replacing orifices that was clogged. Like I said, guys, remember, you always want to step back, especially if you guys are diagnosing AC units. You always want to step back if you do find an immediate issue. And I'm just giving you guys hypotheticals here. Let's say if I do find a burner clogged up, I'll step back and say, okay, wait a minute. If this orifice is clogged up, what the hell is happening with the unit here? Is my filter clean? Like, what is causing this burner assembly to clog up like this? Is this unit near like something, maybe near a dryer that's not venting properly? Like I said, when the dryer runs, is it just blowing, lint inside the furnace? Like I said, something crazy. But like I said, guys, I really like to deal in like reality. Like I said, I can only tell you from what I've seen. If it's something different, then that's something different. But like I said, guys, me personally, I never had actually seen orifice clogged up. Like I said, I've seen burner assemblies not all light, or burners not light all the time. And if that's the case, I always took them out and clean them or replace the burner assembly, and it always worked. But clogged burners, that's not something I really ran across. And like I said, guys, if you are out there converting natural gas to propane, make sure you guys are changing the springs in the gas valve and you're changing the orifices. And I made another video on that. Like I said, guys, I feel like everything I'm telling you guys is kind of like redundant, but I'll always give you guys reference, especially like I said, if I'm talking about a topic, if I know I made a short or a video, I will always send you guys back to check it out. But I know I made a few videos on how to install gas lines, and I definitely did make a short or a video in regards to how to convert natural gas to propane. So make sure you guys check that out. I showed you guys how to change the orifices and how to change the spring in the gas valve. Next thing, carrier communication error. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. With this, it's either the thermostat, the wire going to the unit, or the circuit board inside. But like I said, guys, I don't see too many carrier communicating systems. We do see them from time to time, but for the most part, like you said, that's like a 1 out of every 50 units. All right. Next one here, and this is the last question, because guys, I gotta get outside and gas that truck up before tomorrow. I don't want that truck to die out. Limit fault. Heat rise too high, always high gas pressure. All right. This is the other question here. How I want to do this. How do I want to do this here? So, so let's say if our supply was 150 and our return, I think a normal heat rise is like, you gotta look at the um the info on the door of the furnace. It tells you what the heat rise should be. But guys, I'm just making up numbers here just for illustration. I think the supply, let's say if the supply is 150, uh, I want to say like at least like between the 50 and 70 degree heat. Let's say 100 is a 50. Let's say you got a 60-degree heat rise. I'm gonna put 90. All right, so 90. We got hypothetically speaking a 90-degree return and a 150-degree supply, and that's a 60-degree heat rise. And guys, hold on. I got to put this marker back before it dries out. So for once again, I just put here limit fault. So guys, once again, same gas furnace, and I put here if my furnace is going out on limit, if my heat rise is too high, is it always high gas pressure? Now, guys, once again, with this question, you have to refer to the door on the furnace. It tells you, when I say the door, guys, this is where you guys will get the model serial number. This will tell you guys the heat rise. It gives you the model serial number. It gives you the blower information. It gives you the inches of water column. This is where you guys will get all your standard information. But most importantly, it does give you the heat rise. Depends on what stage furnace you have. If this is a single stage, it will give you, like I said, the expected heat rise. With multi-stages, if you guys had a 2 or 3 stage furnace, it will give you the heat rise for each and every stage. But with this particular one, this is a 60-degree heat rise. Once again, this is just hypothetically. My supply is 150. My return is 90, and I got a 60-degree heat rise. And guys, back to the question. If my heat rise was too high, meaning if the manufacturer wanted a 60 and we're at like a 120-degree heat rise. So if we're at a 60, if the manufacturer wanted us at a 60-degree heat rise and we're at a 120, just to line us up with a question, does that always mean high gas pressure? The answer is no, guys. Heat rise pretty much means that the furnace is basically getting too hot. Heat rise, like I said, is like a calculation you can use. It's like a TD for you guys to do TD checks in the summertime for the AC. A heat rise is nothing more than just the difference between your return and supply. Now, once again, the expected heat rise will always be on the data plate of the furnace, but if your heat rise is too high, and let's say hypothetically speaking, if your limit switch is open, how I will start diagnosing this unit, I'll say, okay, is my blow motor running fast enough? If my blow motor is even turning on, I will start first with the blow motor. If I know my blow motor is running, next I will go to my filter. And if my filter is running, at that point, or my filter is clean, I'll say, okay, now let me step back. And my blow motor is running properly, and my filter is clean, then I'll step back and say, okay, wait a minute. Is my return sized properly? Meaning, like I said, if the returns are too small, that could cause the furnace to like starve for air. And if that's the case, you will cause, like I said, you will cause like an intermittent limit switch error. But like I said, guys, if my blower is good, if my filter is clean, and my return are properly sized, then I will probably throw in a manometer, and then I will inspect my gas pressures to make sure that, like I said, this is natural gas. We're at 3.5 inches of water column, give or take. Maybe like a 3.4 I'll take. But most importantly, you want your inlet side of the gas valve. You want that to be, I think, at least 7 inches of water column. You want that to be at least like double. I'm talking for natural gas. The inlet side, you want that to be double what you actually need. But for the most part, guys, like I said, if my fan is running properly, once again, you can check that with amps. If my filter is clean, my return is sized properly, And two, well, and lastly, this is number four. If I got adequate gas pressures, most of the time, guys, checking those four things, that will lead you to your answer as far as why the limit switch is opening. And I don't have that written on the board here, but the limit switch should probably be somewhere like right here. And guys, this limit switch is normally closed and it only opens up on a rising temperature, meaning if the internal temperature of your furnace gets above a certain point, that limit switch is going to say, okay, open up, something's wrong. And if the blow motor is running, it's going to blow cold air, and that's going to alert the customer to let you know that something's going on with the unit. And from that point, you can go out and then you'll get to where what I'm talking about right now in regards to now you know your limit switch is open. You got to figure out what's going on. But guys, yeah, I mean, to answer the question here, it's not always high gas pressure. This is, like I said, guys, I can tell you right now, like with the high gas pressure thing, I mean, I can't even say that, like I said, this is like a normal occurrence because, like, guys, I can tell you right now, if this is a brand new furnace, then this will be like an easier diagnosis as far as if the gas pressure was too high. But I really don't see too many gas valves just go out of whack, like all of a sudden. Like, I don't, unless, like I said, another company maybe came out and, like I said, they had to adjust the gas pressure. Maybe that, but like I said, guys, this isn't like a normal occurrence for you to always have to adjust the gas pressure. And like I said, guys, always refer to your data plate if you guys are adjusting the gas pressure. And you can always call tech support if you guys aren't sure, especially with multi-stage furnaces, like first, second, and third stage. If you guys don't know what the adequate gas pressures to be, but like I said, this isn't something that you always have to adjust. Like the gas pressures would be the last thing I would touch. I would first make sure that you're moving proper airflow and make sure if you do have a filter in the unit, make sure the filter is clean. And then I would next, like I said, step back. Once again, you don't want to zoom in too much and then miss something. I would zoom out and then I'll say, okay, if everything's clean, is this furnace starving for air? Not the supply, but the return. Like I said, okay, because guys, think about it like this. If your return is too small, if your filter is dirty, or if your fan wasn't moving, any of this will cause the furnace to prematurely get too hot. And once again, if this furnace gets too hot, limit switch opens up. But guys, there you have it. That's 10 grand in the book. Like I said, I expect, like I said, for you guys to break bread with me once it's time for you guys to pay your taxes. It's like, nah. But guys, look, this is easy. Like I said, I'm just going through my notes here. I wanted to do this more often, but like I said, guys, once we get busy, duty calls, like I said, I try to get to this when I can, but whenever I have downtime, like I said, it's no problem for me to just put some random things on the board. And like I said, I try to give you guys the game based on, like I said, all the notes. And guys, I only went through like probably 3 or 4 different flashcards. I didn't even go through like most of what I had written down because I know most of that shit isn't like organized. I feel like most of what I got written down, it was just kind of like random things I was seeing, but got everything done. Yeah, guys, I think most of the stuff I had, like I said, it wasn't really in order. But like I said, guys, it's definitely a blessing, man, to have this stuff written down. And like I said, guys, some of this stuff I had answers for, but me being around it for so long, like I said, just directly, I just had the answers to how most of this shit works. But like I said, guys, this is just my saving grace, man, as far as what worked for me. If I didn't get answers, I didn't have someone next to me, whether that be a manager or a more experienced lead tech. I didn't have someone next to me to tell me everything. I just wrote down what I didn't know. And like I said, I just chipped away at it each and every day. And once again, this is all for maintenance. This isn't from, the company having me go out to do service calls. No, this is all just from doing heat maintenances every day. Like I said, just cleaning everything, cleaning burners, cleaning flame sensors. And like I said, guys, it just built up over time. But guys, there you have it. I went through a few notes, about 10 grand. I really think it was like 15. If you guys applied, this is like close to 15 grand in notes. But guys, I got to get up out of here. Peace out. And be on the lookout tomorrow. I got an 8 to 10 tomorrow. I got to get to. I think that's a no heat call. That was the one I was telling you guys that just came in. But guys, be on the lookout for another vlog I'm putting up tomorrow. But guys, I got to get up out of here. I got to make sure I got business cards and make sure I got everything I need here. But all right, guys, peace out. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.